Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hey, Lisa.
Hi, Elizabeth. Hey, insiders. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. We're going to talk with you guys today about hypertension and sleep apnea. So I hope you are prepared for a fun and interesting conversation on those two. We are going to be going over these things. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about you guys. So if anybody's in the room, share with us where you are, what branch you serve. Oh, excuse me, what branch you served in, and the years that you served. We'll give you a shout out, and then we'll talk to you about us, me, right now, and then we will get in there. Hey, there she is. All right, we're back online. But Lisa, why don't you
I'm
tell us
here.
a bit about yourself real quick, and then I'll tell my story, and we'll get us rolling.
Hi, insiders. I'm Lisa Walker. I'm delighted to be here. My story, I have about 15 years of experience helping individuals with disabilities get the VA disability rating they deserve prior to coming to VA Claims Insider. Once I found out I could do that for veterans, I was all about it because I have a lot of veterans in the family. Most of my veterans, about 8 out of 10, are underrated, and my goal is to get everybody the rating they deserve. That's our company goal as well, and we like to file a new claim within 30 days or less if we can. So that's how we like to help you.
Well, thanks, Lisa. I am Coach Elizabeth Hash. I am a veteran. I served most of my career active Army National Guard. It's the best kept secret in the military. I'll tell you what, it was pretty awesome. Hey, Brian, I'm from Missouri too. I'm in Kansas City. I'm a big Chiefs fan, so we'll just leave that on the table. And I joined VA Claims Insider about a year ago, and I'm absolutely in love with our mission, with our purpose, and getting to help veterans every day. It's a blessing, and we're happy to be here serving you all today, especially. So before we kind of roll in, I'm going to give some shout outs. We've got Jim from South Dakota. He was in the Army from 70 to 73. Thank you, Jim. Benjamin, U.S. Air Force, retired 1974 to 1994. He's in Houston, Texas. I hope it's warm down there. It's not very warm here in Kansas City today. We got Mark Nichols, Army 82 to 90. He's in Florida. Patrick Johnson, Oklahoma City, Navy from 2008 to 2013. Templar Mathis, Rod Mathis, active duty Army, Fort Jackson, Fort Campbell, Camp Humphreys, Korea, Fort Polk, Heidelberg. I loved Germany. It was my favorite. Art, Gary Goldman, Florida Marine Corps from 78 to 99. Brian Keene, you're the Missouri guy. Welcome. U.S. Air Force 87 to 92. Manny Pena, San Antonio, Marine Corps 96 to 2000. Brian Razor, I hope I say these names right. Please don't be angry if I butcher them. U.S. Army 1996 to 91 to 96 in Kentucky. Lejeune, Frankie Comfort, U.S. Marine Corps vet. Awesome. Sylvia White. Hey, Sylvia. 84 to 2004. Sylvia is one of my girls. U.S. Army retired logistics truck driver. Nicholas Seals, Tennessee, Navy, 98 to 05. We got Haley and Daniel Gunter Blanco, Georgia, U.S. Air Force, 91 to 2011. You guys, we got a lot of veterans in here today. This is amazing. We've got Mrs. Melva Harrell, U.S. Army, 83 to 91 in North Carolina. Mark, U.S. Army from 1972 to 1979, active duty. We've got Carlos Gomez, San Antonio Marine Corps, 1999 to 2004. Armando Cumplido, I hope I said that right. Navy, 94 to 97. William Hall, Air Force, 83 to 07. Fredel Butler, Army, I think that means Louisiana, 88 to 95. Rob Lowry, Air Force, 82 to 86, Oklahoma City. Randy Blackburn, 74 to 97. CW3, hey, thanks for joining us, Chief. He's in Texas, but from South Dakota. Representing a lot of different states today. Let me try that again. Sorry, guys. Alejandro Garcia, or Alexandro. I'm not sure if I'm butchering that. I really apologize. Army, 2001 to 2009. Nedrick Smith, Navy, 90 to 94. RWDs, thank you for saying hi. Hello. Kevin Smith, Marine Corps, 05 to 09. Edward Lee, 87 to 2008. U.S. Air Force, James Noxon, Air Force retired. Justina White, Marine Corps, 96 to 99. Sheila Brown, Army, 86 to 94. Billy Harps, Air Force veteran, 88 to 99, South Carolina. Norman, U.S. Marine Corps, 71 to 89. Lynetta Dallas, retired Army in Maryland. David Olson, got some questions. We'll get there. Gary Carroll, U.S. Marine Corps, 94 to 02. Barry, I'm not going to try it. U.S. Air Force, 80 to 88. Oates Daniel Haynes, Navy, 03 to 07. Donata Liverman, Navy, 2000 to 2008. D. Hud, Navy retired, 97 to 17. David Olson, Army, 25th Infantry Division. Bobby Joe Rogers, VACI member. Hey, Bobby Joe. Army, 83 to 04. James Dickey, Army, 76 to 96. Yeah. D, I don't think so. Go Army. David Olson, 83 to 87. Charlie Marshall, 85 to 98. Chris Baylor, 92 to 97. Julia Hazlitt, hey, Missouri. Vietnam, 69 to 70. Thanks, guys and gals, veterans. Welcome. We're really, again, excited to be here. If you're just now joining us, I'm Coach Elizabeth. My co-host is Coach Lisa, and we're going to talk to you today about some things with sleep apnea and hypertension. But before we do, Lisa, you want to talk to them about our methods, strategy, education, and medical evidence?
Absolutely. Welcome to VA Claims Insider. We are an education-based consulting company that specializes in helping veterans get the disability ratings that they deserve by law. If you're stuck, if you're frustrated, if you're needing some pointers, you've come to the right place. You get a lot of things with us. You get, first of all, us, your coaches. Elizabeth and I are some of our representative samples of our coaches. We have a lot of our coaches are veterans themselves and have been there and done that, or they have a veteran connection so that we can help you. We understand what you're going through, and we help you with making the process easier. We are here for disabled veterans who are exploring the possibility of increased disability ratings and anybody who wants to learn more about that process. We also connect our veterans with independent vetted medical providers. A lot of my veterans are underrated, not because they don't have the condition that they filed for. Maybe you've been denied for something. A lot of times in my case, it's because the veteran is missing potential evidence that the VA requires in order to say yes to your claim instead of no. So what we want to do is take a hard look at what evidence you have or what you're missing and go from there. So as I said, we contract with connect veterans with independent contractors of independent medical professionals who provide the services and get y'all the evidence that you need. So we do that for a wide range of disability conditions. You might consider it, you might have heard of it called an IMO, short for independent medical opinion, or maybe a nexus letter. We help you every step of the way through the process, and we take a lot of pride in doing that and a lot of satisfaction in helping you with that. And if you filed a claim with us and you've been denied, or if you received a lower rating than you think you should have, Or if you're not sure how to get started, then again, come to us. You've come to the right place. We offer a free discovery call so that you can get the disability rating and compensation you deserve. And up to now, we've helped more than 15,000 veterans and counting. So today, it's your turn. Welcome.
Yes, welcome. Thanks again, Lisa. And like she was saying, we specialize in helping veterans explore the opportunity for increased benefits. We use strategy, education, and medical evidence to get you to the rating that you have earned. I'm of the old school mindset that nobody really deserves anything. You earn what you get, and you took an oath. You swore to serve, and you earned it. So thanks for being here. Thanks for listening, and we'll get kind of rolling with this stuff. I know that I saw a couple of questions in the chat before we get started. If you have had a coach before, I saw a couple of people in there. If you've had a coach before, but you're interested in getting back in touch with a coach, I know our behind the scenes guys can post a link so you guys can get signed up again. And you can, there it is. Hop on there, get started, and you'll be put in contact with a coach today. All right.
Awesome.
Okay. So here's a moment y'all been waiting for: hypertension and sleep apnea. I'll kind of start the talk by, talking about hypertension and the ratings for hypertension. So it's not something that is talked about very often because I don't know if you all have heard this, but they call hypertension the silent killer. Most people don't know when they have hypertension, high blood pressure, and they don't understand how it can impact them. Really, it measures the pressure in your arteries when your heart beats, and then it measures the pressure when your heart rests between beats. That's the systolic and diastolic pressure. Now, none of that really has a whole lot of bearing in when you're filing for a claim, because you're in there, you've got the diagnosis, you're trying to get rated, you're trying to see if it's service connected, and all of that. So the things that you need to know about hypertension and VA ratings are really the breakdown. So hypertension can be rated at 10, 20, 40, and 60% just for hypertension. I kind of joke and say you have to be actively having a heart attack to be rated high for hypertension. And we've had a lot of questions about the ratings, whether or not you're on medication. If you need to be on medication for your hypertension, don't come off of your medication to risk stroke, heart attack, any of those complications just to get a rating. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, but I am a disabled veteran who genuinely cares about you guys. So we would never recommend going off your medication for a rating, especially for hypertension. But you can go in the 38 CFR. That's a code of federal regulation that the VA uses, and it explains the breakdown of those ratings, and you can see what that is. Now, the reason we're talking about hypertension with sleep apnea is because there have been a lot of studies done that conclude there's a bidirectional relationship between the two. What does that mean? Bidirectional means that hypertension impacts sleep apnea, impacts hypertension. So a lot of people that have sleep apnea are at risk or possibly already have had hypertension, and vice versa. So there have been cases where veterans have gotten service connected for hypertension secondary to the sleep apnea and vice versa. It's not connected usually, in my experience, via a causal relationship. So I haven't seen where the VA has said, yes, one of them causes the other. What I've seen has been a bidirectional aggravational relationship between the two. That's why we're talking about both of them today. That's pretty much what I've got on the hypertension arena. Lisa, if you want to take over and talk sleep apnea.
I'll be happy to. I will add a couple of more a couple of symptoms that you might be experiencing or looking out for hypertension. That was a great job on explaining it, Elizabeth. It's um, a condition that is not as commonly seen as connected, but it can certainly be important to know about. Some of the symptoms from it might be severe headaches. You might get nosebleeds. You might get dizzy. You might feel like you're having a heart attack. You might have an irregular or fast heartbeat, vision pains, chest pain, blood in the urine, or like I said, pounding from your heart, which can show up in any places, your ears, your head, lots of places. So obviously we aren't medical professionals, but we know that if those are symptoms you're having, you should go to the doctor and get checked out for that, aside from your VA disability rating. And then the other thing about the correlation, as Elizabeth was saying, the correlation between hypertension and sleep apnea, it appears that when you are, if you have episodes of sleep apnea that wake you up, the Mayo Clinic and some other research studies are concluding that there's a fight or flight response that's activated. And so when you wake up, if you have multiple episodes where you wake up during your evenings, what's supposed to be sleep, but because you have sleep apnea, you're interrupted with your sleep, the fight or flight reflex can kick in and make your blood pressure spike. So just like Elizabeth said, it's a back and forth relationship, and they're interrelated. So on to sleep apnea. Sleep apnea, a lot of our vets have sleep apnea. Research shows that it's about 1.3 million vets who are in the VA healthcare system, that's their numbers for their tracking, have a sleep apnea diagnosis. As a veteran, you're 4 times more likely than other Americans to get it. So I would like to ask you guys and ask you veterans out there, if you have sleep apnea or symptoms of it or think you have it, can you just shoot us a little check mark or something like that? Or if you think you have hypertension, I'd like to see how many people on the call with us now feel like they have those symptoms or potentially a diagnosis in the works or already have a diagnosis. So like I said, if you're a veteran, you're 4 times more likely than other Americans to develop sleep apnea. And according to the VA, 1 in 5 veterans has sleep apnea. That's a lot. So sleep apnea ratings, the ratings for sleep apnea can vary depending on the severity, like many of our rateable conditions through the VA. 0, 30, 50, and 100 is the breakdown, the break points for the rating for sleep apnea. If you have a sleep study diagnosis where the physician recommended that you wear a CPAP, which is my dad used to have it, he called it the Darth Vader machine. He would strap it on, it was like, so if you have the Darth Vader machine strapped to you at night, that if we can persuade the VA to agree with everything we need them to agree with, that would typically be a 50% rating. If you have it a milder case, it would be potentially a 30% rating. And to get 100%, which I've never seen a 100% rating. Elizabeth, have you?
I haven't, and 100% is really severe.
It is.
It's not just a severe sleep apnea diagnosis; it's severe with major complications.
Right. Chronic respiratory failure is how they define it, which, as Elizabeth said, is nothing to sneeze at. Sleep apnea, a lot of people tend to think that sleep apnea is kind of just an annoyance, but that is not true. If you have it or if you think you have it, please go get it checked out. And it is a condition where you stop breathing multiple times during the night, and it means that you get oxygen deprived. So the way you'll find out is if you get the sleep study. My son had one done, and they hook him up to a bunch of connectors and nodes and things that make you not feel like you can sleep. His was done at a hospital. They also have potentially home studies done if the VA is backed up. I've had vets who've gotten both. And what they do is monitor how many hours you're sleeping and what kind of interruptions and oxygen deprivation you have. And that determines what the physician recommends. So by far the most common sleep apnea rating I've seen is the 50% one with the CPAP. It is also has the distinction right now, sleep apnea has the distinction of being one of the most denied conditions that the VA denies right now. I think it's, last time I checked, Elizabeth, you can fact check me on this too, but I think it's 88% of veterans are initially denied with a sleep apnea claim. Veterans, let us know. Is that your story? How many times did it take you to get?
They say that 95% of statistics on Facebook are made up. Just like that one.
Now, I'm not saying you can't get a connection. I'm not saying you can't get it at all, because I have a lot of veterans I've helped get a sleep apnea connection, a service connection, or a rating. And that leads me to the next point, which is, what do you need when you have sleep apnea? You might be wondering, what do you need?
And before we venture into that one, you'd asked them earlier to shout out if they have it, and I stopped counting at 20.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's significant. It's a significant condition that impacts so many veterans. Again, if you think you have it, get your butt to the doctor, get a sleep study. And, when you're dealing with the VA and you're asking them for this stuff, tell them your symptoms. Some of those symptoms are going to be daytime fatigue, snoring, gasping for breath. And sometimes, you might get a false read. You might go to that sleep study and sleep better that night than you ever have. But if it still causes you issues, don't take that as the gospel. Keep going to the doctor, keep getting your symptoms checked out, and eventually, you'll get the things that you need for that diagnosis if it's something that's ailing you. I also kind of want to touch on that 30 and 50%, because the sleep apnea at 30% is someone who doesn't need a BiPAP or a CPAP machine to assist them. Now, even veterans with mild sleep apnea can get a 50% rating if a machine is going to help them. Now, that said, there's a shortage of CPAP machines right now, and the VA is very stingy about who's going to get those machines. So if you have a private insurance provider, that's a way to go and get a machine if it's going to help you. If you, when you're filing the claim, if you get the doctor that says, hey, you do need one, you will benefit from one, we just don't have one yet, then that's legitimate to move forward to. So I just wanted to kind of touch on those things before we venture off into the next realm, which is, like Coach Lisa said, the things that you need for a service connection. If you think you have some of these conditions, and if you're just now joining us, we just got done talking to you about sleep apnea, hypertension, some of the symptoms, how they're rated, and we're going to be talking about, the things that you need for a service connection. But if you're curious and you want to know more information, please sign up, get yourself in there with a coach. We've got the link down there for you. You can get started and talk to a coach, get your claim rolling today. So thank you.
No more waiting. Most of our vets have waited too long already.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk about the what you need for the connection, Elizabeth?
Sure. We can kind of go back and forth and chat about that. Sure.
Oh, I also wanted to say one other thing that I didn't mention. Sleep apnea can be aggravated by PTSD. That's a common thing. And the same goes for depression or anxiety. Sleep apnea can be aggravated, and vice versa. Just like the hypertension, it kind of goes back and forth. And also TBI or physical pain. And finally, if you breathed in a bunch of dust and fumes, working somewhere in your active duty that puts you in a place where you had to breathe in smoke or dust or fumes that resulted in rhinitis or allergies of some type or asthma, that's also a common issue that vets have when they have sleep apnea. Those can be interrelated to that degree. So, like Elizabeth said on the symptoms, if you feel groggy during the day, that might be a 30% rating. If you use the CPAP, you're likely to get rated at 50%. Another thing about the CPAPs themselves, those were good tips on the VA is kind of stingy with them right now. I believe there's also a lot of my vets are letting me know there's been a recall on certain CPAP. There's a piece of foam in there that is deteriorating that they were replacing. So if they haven't contacted you, you might want to reach out on that too to them, your provider. And as Elizabeth said, if you need a CPAP machine through the VA and you're having a hard time getting one, maybe you can get one through your private doctor. The results are equally valid as well. You need a sleep that gets into our next statement. What do you have to do? You need 3 things. So we've kind of alluded to them. You need for sleep apnea, you would need a medical diagnosis of sleep apnea, and you would need it confirmed with a sleep study. So get your BUTT to the doctor and find out what you've got going on. It'll help you and it'll help your claim. Number 2, you'll need a service-connected disability rating or some type of disability rating that it would be tied to. Most likely.
So an in-service event. An in-service event can be directly service connected. If you've got a lot of history of sleep disturbances and snoring and a lot of symptoms that you went to the doctor and talked about during your service, if you've got battle buddies who remember you keeping the whole barracks up at night with your snoring, your gasping, things of that nature, if you've got those complaints in service, you could have an in-service event for a direct service connection.
That is possible.
What Coach Lisa was talking about. What Coach Lisa was talking about was the secondary connection, which could be to secondary to mental health due to weight gain as an intermediate step. So there are lots of possibilities, and we've got lots of questions in the chat. So once we get through with this piece, we'll move over to that and start really digging in and answering your questions. I'm really excited though. You guys are really involved and it's fun to see these comments. So thank you for participating and asking. We'll get there. So we've got the diagnosis, we've got the in-service event. What's next, Coach Lisa?
The in-service event, as Elizabeth said, can either be primary service connected or secondary service connected. It'll depend on your situation. And then the final thing is the medical nexus, which establishes the connection between your sleep apnea and your service, your service period, whether it's a direct or indirect connection. So do you need an independent medical opinion? That's what the VA language calls it is an independent medical opinion, or IMO. Do you need one? Well, if you think you do, take a look at our program, our elite membership program. Membership gives you your own veteran coach. As we said earlier, Elizabeth and I are 2 of them. We have a lot of us that we will help you walk through the claim from start to finish. We'll give you access to our proprietary resources if you're with the elite membership program, and we will help you every step of the way. We can connect you with the independent referral network for the medical evidence that you might need, medical exams, or also medical nexus letters. And it's free to join. and you don't pay unless you win. And that should be until you win.
And we don't quit. We don't quit.
That's
We
right.
fight for you every step of the way. And we do have some, VA Claims Insider has some great blog posts. If you're interested to see some more of this information in print, check out, just Google VA Claims Insider with whatever the condition is, and you'll likely stumble across a blog post that you can get some of this information. An educated vet is a paid vet, so educate yourself every step of the way. I've got, some of you guys have been posting in here, several questions. One of the most common things that I've seen was, okay, the secondary piece. What can it be secondary to? So, a common one that I've seen lately is secondary to several conditions. So several of your conditions may be aggravating your sleep apnea. If you have a mental health condition, if you have an orthopedic condition, if you have sinusitis, then all three of those things could be aggravating that sleep apnea, to the point where you need the CPAP machine. So let's say you gained 40 pounds after you got out of the military. That's not uncommon, and it's because of your orthopedic injuries. Well, those orthopedic injuries have maybe caused you not to be as active because it hurts. You've got chronic pain, you've got all these issues. Well, then add a mental health condition to that. And if you're like me and chocolate is your, support system, then maybe that caloric intake, disparity isn't there. So you can't get that weight off if you're not exercising. All of that creates the perfect storm, so to speak, for aggravation for that sleep apnea. So when you're talking about getting a nexus or a medical opinion that it is at least as likely as not because of your service that this condition exists, those are the connections that you want to talk to the doctor, the provider about, to see if it's a legitimate and, confirmed, connection. What I mean by confirmed is that you've got to have studies to back this up. I could say that, my sleep issues are because my kids come in and kick me in the face every night, right? If it's not confirmed with studies, then maybe it's true, but there's nothing out there saying, yep, this is confirmed via scientific studies and evidence and all of this other stuff. So those things really strengthen your claim. And that's why we absolutely recommend yes to independent medical opinions with nexus statements. And again, if you have a question on how to get those, if you can't get those from your private doctor, if your only doctor is the VA, come check us out, see us, see if we can help you with that. Again, we'll get the link up so you can sign up, but, we can definitely point you in the right direction. David Olson, you are my new best friend, and, you can get signed up, and I would love to help you out for sure. Let's get to some of these other questions. I think we beat sleep apnea secondary, to some of those things. We do have a question that came up: service connected for asthma, allergic rhinitis, deviated septum, and diagnosed with extreme sleep apnea by the VA. Also have tinnitus, has not applied for compensation for sleep apnea. Seems like you would be granted. So I want to tell you a little bit about the VA. There is no slam dunk with the VA, none. So Jim, absolutely get as much medical evidence as you can to support your claims before you submit. And again, if you need to know where to go, we can help you get there. But yes, you definitely need to do that. Now, if you're going with any provider to get these things, you're going to want to start gathering your medical evidence. So talk to the company that did your sleep study and get a copy of it. Download your blue button reports from va.gov, My Healthy Vet. Get that stuff together so that you have the evidence to show the provider to get you those independent medical opinions, those IMOs.
And I would add to that, great comments. I would add to that to get familiar with your own records. take a deep dive into what happened during your service. You'll be surprised what you might uncover that you forgot about is in there. There may be some nuggets that can help. And then, of course, continue to go to the doctor for whatever ails you, because that will help you. We've said this a couple of times, but it bears repeating. Brian Reese, our CEO, says it for himself and to all of us. How many of you veterans have watched the videos? It says, get your BUTT to the doctor.
I'm not afraid to say it. Get your butts to the doctor.
That's right. For everything
it.
that hurts, whatever that is, it'll help you and it'll help your claim. So
Absolutely.
get familiar with what's in your records. If you think you've got a shortfall somewhere, then go to the doctor for your own health. And of course, talk to us. If you're an elite member, you can talk with us about any of this, and we'll help you with pinpointing resources, uncovering resources, verifying what you've got going on, and also working with independent medical providers who can provide medical evidence and nexus letters that you might need to buttress your claim.
So we've got a couple of questions. Luis Vieira says, after all the evidence, does the IMO have to be done with a sleep apnea specialist, or can your primary doctor do it? Your primary doctor can absolutely do it. The VA measures your evidence based on what they call probative value.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got a nexus from the specialist, then it would have potentially more probative value, but a primary doctor can absolutely do it. The VA is not going to contract most of the time a sleep apnea specialist to do your CNP exam. There just aren't enough of them out there. So your evidence only has to match the probative value of the evidence that the VA would have through their CNP examiner. So yes, get with your primary care doctor, see if they'll do it. There are several companies out there who do nexus letters. It's a need that has been established, and many providers are starting to take on the responsibility for that need. They can get expensive. It is an investment in your future to get some of this medical evidence. The VA doesn't, have doctors on standby pro bono to do your CNP exams for free. So it's, it's a thing for you to pay to, get one of those nexus statements. You pay people for their time. A doctor or provider is no different. Chris Baylor says, service connected for hypertension at 0%. Help. So Chris, if you think that you're underrated for the hypertension, I want to say this too. 0% on any condition is a win. The VA has conceded that the military caused this condition. That's a win. So
That's
take it. If you feel like you're underrated, go to the CFR, 38 CFR, and see what the requirements are for those ratings, for that 10, 40, 60 for those ratings. Because if you meet those requirements, then it's worth filing for an increase. The thing that we don't want you doing, even if you're not an elite member, we don't want you taking all of your claims and saying, I feel like I'm underrated for that, and then throw all the spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. It's not going to be effective for you, and it's just going to bog the system down and take forever. So instead, check out those the rating schedule for those conditions. See if your symptoms warrant an increase. If you don't have a clue what I'm talking about, if it's overwhelming and frustrating to even think about going through that process and looking up that stuff, don't do it alone. Come and join one of us, get a coach, join the elite membership program, and we'll help walk you through it. We research and we go through these things. I don't believe anybody's truly an expert, but we really strive to be the best in this business. And we have a collective group of exceptional professionals who has a wealth of knowledge and information that we come together and share. So you don't just get my knowledge, you get our collective knowledge, and that's immeasurable. So if you don't know, if you don't want to go and do that research on your own, let us do it for you. Come join us. You've got really nothing to lose. Nothing at all. All right. We've got some other people that have been denied. I see a lot of people denied for sleep apnea. It's common. I often have to go for an appeal, which either a supplemental review or an HLR or higher level review. And that, it is really common to get denied on the front end for those things.
But it's not necessarily the be all. It doesn't mean it's a denial forever. We were one of our veterans within our organization was talking about how many times he had to apply to before he got a rating, and I think it was 4 times. But that doesn't mean that will be your situation, and it doesn't mean it basically it doesn't. If you've gotten denied before, that doesn't mean you always get denied. And if you've never filed before, or if you don't think you have the evidence, that doesn't mean you can't make the connection. Basically, we're here to help you. We've seen all kinds of things come through, and we're used to, as Elizabeth said, either from our own experience or from our group brain trust that we have with all of our coaches and senior veteran coaches. We will figure it out and make sure we have the right strategy for you. We're strategic, we're evidence-based, and we care. So that sums up what VA Claims Insider does for our veterans. So thank you for all of your comments today. And like I said before, and Elizabeth has too, if you're stuck or frustrated, or if you feel like you're underrated, contact us. You can join the Elite membership, which is no charge to you and gives you a wealth of information plus a coach. And you can also sign up for a free discovery call as well if you'd like to. We have there it is right there on the link.
Yep.
Schedule a free 30-minute discovery call today. We can help.
Yes. And Alexandro Garcia says, higher level review or appeal, don't know what to do. So that's a great question. I always recommend going the shorter route first. We don't help handle claims that go to the Board of Veteran Appeals. So definitely take a look at the higher level review or supplemental beforehand. But yeah.
And hopefully with a coach.
Yeah, get with one of us because we can. So you can blanket statement things all day, but until there's someone that has direct knowledge of your claim in its entirety, it's really just kind of frivolous. You don't. We go through everything that you've got, that you give to us, and get you a better strategy based on what your situation is. None of this is cookie cutter. It's not, okay, here's our 5-step program, right, and we're going to just go through step by step and it's going to work like AA, it's not like that. We cater this directly to you and what your situation is. So
yeah, we don't have a one-size-fits-all program because there isn't a one-size-fits-all program, and you don't want a one-size-fits-all program.
No.
You want someone who will look at your records, your situation, listen to your story, your symptoms, your truth, and present that to the VA in a way, in a language that they understand and that will make them more receptive if you've had difficulties, especially if you've had difficulties in the past. So that's what I would say is something that we all strive for as individuals. And my son has told me when I'm talking with him, if something goes his way, happy dance activated. Well, I do the same thing. Do the same thing with our vets when we celebrate a win. We activate our happy dance,
Mhm.
uh, and celebrate together. There's nothing else like it. So
Yep. The link for the free 30-minute discovery call is up again. So click on that. I've seen a couple of questions for that. It's a great way to just get in touch and see if this is right for you. I also saw, some people maybe overseas, difficult finding doctors that know that language. There are doctors, there are providers who have international licenses. So that could be an option as well.
yeah.
Frank wants to know which coach is best to use with sleep apnea and high blood pressure. Frank, all of our coaches are excellent. We don't settle for mediocrity. We strive for excellence, and so you'll get someone great, whomever it is. And there are some instances if you want to request specific coaches. We don't normally say, "Hey, let's go get one specific coach." We do have some that are like, "Ooh, here's my link," which is totally fine. But just get signed up and see how it goes. You do have access to all of us. We also, for elite members, have classes every day of the week, every day of the work week, Monday through Friday. And they are offered 3 times a day. So you have so many opportunities by being an elite member to be educated and to be involved in a community, not just, a Facebook group where you guys chit chat, but we have live Zoom calls. We have our experts go in and talk to you about specific things. We do CNP prep calls. We do orientation calls. We have specific conversations about certain conditions, just like this live, where you
Yeah,
can ask questions and where we can be face to face in this virtual world as you can be. But it's more personable and it's a lot of fun. We really enjoy getting to be involved in the community that we've created for our veterans as well. So one of the fan favorites is Coffee with the Coaches, and it's every morning, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. It's a great way to start the day and just get some questions out there. Mr. Blackburn, Randy Blackburn, wants me to explain the cost if there's an increase. Absolutely. So we don't take any back pay. It is 6 times the amount of your monthly increase. So for example's sake, let's say your increase is $1,000 a month. That would be multiplied by 6, and you can pay it in a lump sum and get a 10% discount, or you can pay it over the course of 12 months interest free. So essentially for the first year, you would be paying half of that increase, and then you're done. Any back pay is yours to keep. We've seen some crazy back pay situations. Like I had one from 2018 that happened just the other day. So there are a lot of opportunities there.
We also have a lifetime cap on the most that
Yes.
we will charge, so that you don't have to worry about where your hard-earned disability claim funds went.
Right. So several cases, people have gone from 0 to 100%, and that can be a significant increase. We're talking, $22,000 in some cases. We do cap the invoice at 15, so
Correct.
you would never pay more than that. All right, we've got some other questions. Stephen, I'm sorry, your questions keep getting skipped. There's a lot going on in
They
there,
roll by really fast.
and
It's hard to see them.
yeah. Okay, so my nephew has never filed for disability. How does he go about getting his medical records? Excellent question. We do have some instructions on getting C-files. You can also request from the National Archives. My favorite is to go to MillConnect, and it's a DMDC website. He would need a DS login, and he can go and request records that way. If he was in recently, TRICARE Online also has digital records, so he can search there. Those are great places to start.
And let me tag on to that by saying, yes, I agree with all of that. And those are great details on how to get to everything. A lot of my vets have another situation going on. Maybe they didn't have, maybe their records are lost. Maybe they got burned up in the fire. Maybe they don't have access to them, or they've requested them and they're waiting for them. You don't need to let that stop you from talking to a coach and seeing what you can do, because there are a lot of ways that we can work around whatever your situation is. So if you don't know where your military records are because the VA has lost them, because that certainly happened before, or if they were incomplete or anything like that, I've had a lot of vets tell me, "Don't I have to wait a year or two for my records to show up before I start?" The answer to that is typically no, but get with your coach, and we'll go over it with you and figure out a strategy to help you move forward, whether you have the records or not. If we can't get them in a speedy format, or in a speedy process, and in a format that you can use.
And it was posted in the chat, the vaclaimsinsider.com. Where do I find my military medical records? So check that out. It's got some great instructions. We just got it posted up underneath us again. Thank you for that. Check those things out. Again, if there's anything that you think, oh, you know what, I want to see if they have anything, Google VA Claims Insider and whatever it is, because chances are we've got a blog post about it, and you can get some great information there. And you can do that without being a member. You get more proprietary information as an elite member, but these are free. These blog posts, these vaclaimsinsider.com things are open to you guys, and you can check it out. What other questions? Gosh, we have flown through. You guys have had some
I think
awesome
we've got
interaction.
about 6 minutes left or so, I believe. So if y'all have some questions, send them this way.
All right.
If you're just coming in late today, we've been talking about both two different conditions that a lot of our vets experience. One is sleep apnea. The other is hypertension, otherwise known as high blood pressure, otherwise known as the silent killer. We want to make sure that you have yourself healthy. Get your BUTT to the doctor. Here's a question from Donnie Green. Is sleep apnea and high blood pressure tied into PTSD?
There are some correlations there. You would have to check your records, check all that stuff to see if that's relevant to your case.
Yeah, it can connect several different ways, and sleep apnea can aggravate PTSD, and PTSD can aggravate sleep apnea. And the same for high blood pressure. Sleep apnea can aggravate high blood pressure can aggravate sleep apnea. How we connect it with you will be dependent, as Elizabeth just mentioned, on what's in your records or what we can add to your records to beat them up. It's not a straightforward answer for every situation. So you would need to get with us and let us help you. We'll be glad to.
And Monica, I see you. I can reach out right after this, okay? Edward Lee sent a question. Edward, I don't see it. Maybe we can find that and get that answered for you. Eddie, we love you. Rick, vaci1.com, trying to register for classes. So we did have some IT issues with that yesterday. We were told it's been fixed. Try it again, see what happens.
And those classes are multiple times a day, as Elizabeth mentioned. We usually have classes at least 3 times a day via a Zoom format. And we have anything relating from coffee with the coaches to how to prep for your CNP, to deep dives on a particular subject, to our Women's Wednesday class. We have a lot of different classes to check out. And you can, as an elite member, you can attend as many of those as you would like to help you feel prepared during your claims journey.
Yes. And Edward Lee denied sleep apnea secondary to PTSD, diagnosis, nexus, DBQ, and supporting documentation. CNP lasted less than 5 minutes. We've seen that too. And what's crucial to do is have someone take a look at the denial letter, your decision letter, what the nexus says, how all of that looks. It is possible the VA made a mistake. Talking to a coach can help you determine if there's a mistake or if there may be a mistake in your nexus or miswording. It's all about the wordplay, guys. So definitely let us check it out and see if we can help with that. It happens. Like I said, there is no slam dunk claim with the VA. I've got veterans still fighting for tinnitus. So it's wild, but
My uncle is a Marine and also a lawyer and an economics. He has an economics degree, a law degree, and is a Marine. And he said, "He who has the biggest paper trail wins." And I do find that definitely makes a huge difference, which is why we keep talking about it. And evidence that we can point to, uncover, or augment your claim with can indeed make the difference, and does a lot of times make the difference between a denial or an ultimate yes. So we can help you with pretty much any age or any stage you are in the claim process, whether you feel like you're underrated, or whether you've been denied, or whether you're just getting started and you don't know exactly what to do. We can help with all of that, all of those situations, and we'll be glad to help with providing you resources, providing you one-on-one coaching, letting you join our elite membership, which doesn't cost you anything to join. And check us out. The link is up there now. Get started for free today at VAClaimsinsider.com, elite membership.
There have been, I guess, a couple questions about your C file. It's all the supporting evidence considered in the rating decisions made by the VA for all of your VA claims. That's your C file. We do have a blog post, how to get your C file fast, on VAClaimsinsider.com. So check that out. Let's see, we had another couple of questions.
Our last couple of minutes, so keep them coming. We'll keep talking till we get tossed out, right?
Yeah, for sure. Any assistance after request for denial has been requested to the Board of Appeals. So you've got to have new evidence if you want to pursue something after a Board of Appeals decision. And that one, again, there could be assistance. It just depends on your situation. So sometimes you might find yourself at a stalemate with the evidence that you have or lack of evidence. And so it might be best to go a different path. That's all stuff that you can talk about with a coach for sure.
And we typically do not assist with a veteran who's actually in the BVA process. There are 3 different types of appeals: the Board of Veterans Appeals process, the higher level review, as Elizabeth mentioned earlier, and the supplemental. So if you are in one of those, if you are in or think you might need to be in one of the other 2 stages aside from the BVA appeal, the HLR appeal, which is the higher level review, or the supplemental, we help with those. We can assist you as a company with those. We do not typically get involved in a BVA appeal. That typically involves an attorney, which we are not. We are not attorneys. We are not medical professionals.
Is there a time limit between first denial to appeal? I wouldn't call it a limit. You do have 1 year from your denial to submit your higher level review. You do have a certain amount of time. They'll usually outline it on your decision letter how much time you have if you want to submit it to the BVA, the Board of Veteran Appeals. Again, that's not something that we do, but we will help with supplemental and higher level reviews. Stephen, I asked if a person was medically discharged before their 4-year enlistment, can they still file for VA disability? Absolutely.
Yes.
And I'm sure there's significant evidence there because it was a medical discharge. So that means they've been to the doctor. They've got medical evidence. So yes, absolutely. That's something we can work with.
Yeah. I've helped med board vets frequently.
Donnie, we've got you covered. Click on that link, vaclaimsinsider.com/elite membership, and we can reach out to you for help. Denied tinnitus and was in the artillery. Go figure. I'm serious.
I know.
Like
Who knows?
I've seen it happen. It's the craziest thing. And sometimes they get so stuck on denying claims that their rationale is wild. I've seen some strange denial rationales, for sure. So
Sometimes
yeah, you're not alone.
Yeah, and sometimes the VA on the denial letter will contradict itself in the same letter on like 2 sentences apart.
Mhm.
So it really helps to get a copy of your denial letter and get that to your coach so you guys can take a look at it and see what nuggets are in there and how to proceed next.
Yep. Goodness. I'm sorry if we didn't get to your questions, you guys. You were plugging them away in there. I genuinely appreciate your participation. It makes these things much less anxiety ridden for me. So thank you. And thanks for being here. You know, I'm available for a few more minutes. We can toss in a couple more questions if you have them. But that VA Claims Insider Elite membership link is in the chat. It's on the screen. Click it. You can get so much more information from people way smarter than me, and we can absolutely help you get through this process. I think that's the most significant thing for me with this is having the community to walk through this process with. It's hard enough digging into our conditions and facing defeat and rejection from the VA, but having a community to come back to and talk about it with and say, man, I was denied for this. What the heck? And then, oh, hey, by the way, I was denied for this reason. And it's a community. It's a collective. So it's a great place to come and to really just dig into this stuff and get it knocked out with like-minded people, other veterans who are experiencing similar or the same situations. It's an awesome place to be. So we'll be happy to have you. We were absolutely thrilled to have you participate today. I definitely appreciate you. I'm blessed that I get to do this. So thank you for your time and for your questions. We love you guys.
Thank you, vets. As I said earlier, my goal personally and our goal as a company is to get a new claim filed for you within 30 days or less. We don't want you waiting any longer than you already have, and we want the fastest, quickest, and most reliable way to get your claim filed as quickly as we can and get a positive decision back for you. So that's what we specialize in, and we do it every day, and we do a lot of happy dances around here, right?
We do. And we celebrate, we celebrate with you every single time. It never gets old. That feeling never gets old at all. And there was one more question. Less than 1 year out of service. Yes, if it's happening less than 1 year from your release from service, absolutely get a claim in, get it going. But yeah, thanks, guys. We appreciate you.
Thank you, vets.
Thanks, Lisa, for joining me today. It was a pleasure.
It was fun, Elizabeth.
Yeah, definitely. All right, y'all. Have a blessed day.